Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm bringing you a late update on my 1 year recovery from cancer. Face cancer, as a matter of fact. Squamous cell carcinoma in my upper lip, which caused me to go through two bouts of radiation therapy. The first one was 35 days, and I waited 3 months, had a PET scan, and it showed that it had returned into my upper lip. It was gone, but it came back after 3 months, and it was very aggressive. So they decided that I needed to have surgery to have the tumor removed. And so I did that. And this is a journey from beginning to end, kind of short form. After I had my surgery, the surgery failed. My face broke apart after they did the surgery because the skin was so weak from radiation that it couldn't hold the stitches in the center of my upper lip. So my face just exploded, and it's still that way. That's why I don't do kind of show my face on screen, basically. But you're going to get to see what I look like now. What you see in this picture is about 2 or 3 years ago. This was me. My mustache, I've had it for like 45, 50 years, and that's completely gone now. That'll never come back. Anyway, yeah, this is kind of like what my face was like when I had the surgery. Now, if you choose to continue, I want you to be aware some of the images you're going to see are very graphic in nature. Some can be very gross. It's all about my face and the treatment. Anyway, let's jump right into it. The first picture I'm going to show you is day one of treatment, and then a little later down the road. This image here is about 2 months after the diagnosis. I finally got into Texas Oncology. They took a look at me and they said, "Oh yeah, we can treat that with radiation." If you can see the upper picture here, how swollen up my lip is, it's gone up under my nose, it's spreading into my cheek. What I didn't know at the time was that it already had spread down into my lymph nodes in my neck. It went down into at least one, I think maybe two lymph nodes, but they said after the radiation, and the radiation failed because it came back, that I had to have the surgery. When I had the surgery, I had the tumor removed from my face, and they cut out 9 lymph nodes just to make sure, because what I had was a type of a skin cancer, but it was the kind that can get into your lymph nodes and then spread throughout your body and, of course, kill you. So I was terrified. I didn't have the correct insurance at the time and all that stuff. I had to start a GoFundMe, and I think I raised around $14,400 and something dollars to cover part of the treatment. The complete treatment I went through, everything was about $144,000, and I had the 14 grand in less than 48 hours. I had that much money in a GoFundMe account, all from YouTube. It was awesome. Anyway, that got me started, and I got them to write off the rest of it. I paid like 10% of the whole thing, and they wrote everything else off right up till the end, including the surgery. It was amazing. Anyway, so this is day one on top here. You can see how screwed up it looks, and down below is after day 10. You can see it shrunk down a lot. Still had my mustache, but no worries. After another 10 days of radiation, I would no longer ever have a mustache again. It just killed the skin and everything around it, and that was a result of the first radiation. Now, this image here is the actual masks they made for my face when they did the radiation. They made this mask, they bolted my head to a table, and they radiated me for 5 minutes every day for 35 days. Yeah, every day. It was crazy. Anyway, here's the actual image of it before I added any of that silly stuff to it before. But anyway, let's continue. Okay, now one of the next images you're going to see is me right after surgery, or 5 or 10 days after surgery. I'm going to show you what the surgery came out like after they actually got all the cancer out of my face, and they cut my throat from ear to ear and took out 9 lymph nodes. The first picture you're going to see is right after the surgery and a little later on after the surgery. Okay, the picture on the left is obviously 6 days after surgery. Still had a lot of the stitches in my face. You can see where they cut up all around my nose. I got my nose all twisted. It's weird. And what happened was he was supposed to do an abbyplasty, which is cut a triangle out of the lower part of my face, flip it around, and make a new lip. But he didn't do that. He just cut the whole tumor out, like 2 inches across, and he pulled from side to side, stretching my face to the max and stitched it together up here, which is not the way to do it. He's not, definitely not a reconstructive surgery. He's a good surgeon, but as far as reconstructive surgery goes, not so much. But on the right, you can see 27 days after surgery. See where that dark line is right there under my nose? Well, that actually comes all the way down to the bottom of my lip. And what happened was that split, that opened wide up, leaving probably 3/4 of an inch on either side of my upper lip. My upper gum is totally exposed after the surgery let go. I'm not going to show you what it looked like. It's really gross. But anyway, let's continue. Now what you're looking at here is my neck, where they cut me from here. It goes all the way up to my lower earlobe on both sides, all the way around. They cut my throat, took out 9 lymph nodes, and then stapled it all back together. You can see they got tubes in my neck where it was draining from the swelling and all that stuff. So that was part of it. Now let's move on to my actual face. This is my face the day of surgery, after I came out of surgery. I was higher than a kite, man. They had me all kinds of morphine pumped into me and some other drugs that are illegal on the street. I was high for like 4 or 5 days. I was in ICU for 4 or 5 days after this, trying to recover. But anyway, let's move on from this one. Okay, now from the time I had the operation and get out of the hospital, I had been there about 5 or 6 days. I was in ICU for 4 days, and they had me just almost unconscious most of the time. But I finally got out, and 3 months later, I had to go back to have a PET scan to see if they had gotten everything. But I don't want to jump ahead too far. But anyway, about 3 weeks to 4 weeks after the surgery, my face broke apart. I went back to see my doctor within a few days, and he said, "Oh, we can fix that. We'll just do what I was originally going to do and do the abbyplasty and make an upper lip out of your lower lip." And at that point, I was so disappointed on how the surgery turned out because, I mean, I just can't describe how hideous it was. Uh, I just have avoided it ever since. It's been a year and a few weeks, and I still won't have it done. Anyway, moving on. After 3 months, I went and got the PET scan. Everything was clear. I didn't have any sign of cancer in my lymph nodes or in my face anywhere, or anywhere else in my body for that matter. I was totally clear. And the radiologist, my doctor, Dr. Strom, said, "Well, in most cases, once it gets into your lymph nodes, we'd like to radiate it one more time for good luck to make sure it doesn't come back in the lymph nodes, because that's where it spreads into the rest of the body. That's how it gets into the rest of the body." So he said it was up to me whether I had it done or not, as preventative medicine kind of thing. And I said, "Well, I don't want to go through any of this again, so go ahead and do it." So I did radiation for another 30 days, got another mask, which I'll show you. The mask on the right is my second radiation mask. They didn't cut any holes in that one for me, so they did radiation for 30 days, and they cut me loose. I went back 3 months later, and they said, "You're cancer-free. You don't have to come back again for a long time if you don't want to." So I said, "All right." Set me up for 6 months, so I've still got to go in March to make sure everything's good. I'm quite confident it is. The only problem is my face. I can hardly talk. I talk funny now because of the surgery, because of the end result of the surgery. Now, I may someday decide to go in and get my lip rebuilt, But as of today, that ain't happening. It's too terrifying to even think about it. Anyway, I'm going to show you what I look like now. Hang on to your shorts. This is what I look like today. You can see by my face how my corners of my mouth run way down almost to my chin. That was never like that before. You can see where if I open my mouth, my gum runs about an inch and a half right across. So I'm not taking any pictures with my mouth open for sure. Anyway, it's hideous. It feels terrible. It feels like I have a rubber band around the middle of my face, just pulling it as tight as it can. It's very uncomfortable. I've lost a lot of my taste sensations, and my mouth dries up really easy. Because on the right side of my mouth, if I don't hold my mouth shut, it pops open a little bit, and there's a lot of dry air that gets in there. That's why I have a difficult time speaking. But anyway, I beat the cancer, don't have it anymore, thank God. That part's over. I turned 70 just before I finished my last radiation treatment. So, you know, this picture here I took this morning when I got up after I woke up, getting ready to make this little video. Anyway, that's my journey on the cancer road. Now, if you go to my main page and go to playlist, you can find my cancer journey. It shows a lot of the video of me at the oncologist and the doctors and a bunch of stuff like that. So if you want to check that out, feel free to do so. Which fortunately for me, which doesn't happen for a lot of people, I get rid of it all. So I thank God for that. And shout out to anybody who's facing this right now. Just hang in there. Hopefully things will work out for you. You know, if you just keep positive and do all that, have fun with it, and everything will be okay down the road. Except you might have a face like mine. My nose is also about a half an inch out of kilter. You can't tell the way I'm looking, the angle I'm looking at the camera, but it's cocked over to the side about a half an inch. It feels like it's broken, is what it is, but it's not. Anyway, that's my sob story for today. It's not really a sob story. It's just one of them things that happens to people in life, and you just move on. You just keep going. You know, I was determined not to give up my YouTube channel and do all that. So I just keep plugging away at it. I don't talk as well as I used to. I can't. I don't know. It's just totally different. Anyway, appreciate you watching. Thought I'd fill you in. It's kind of like my 1 year anniversary of being cancer free. So I don't know what else to tell you. Y'all have a fantastic day. I love y'all. Bye.